I'm excited about the win. Knew this was going to be clearly a tougher opponent, and they're going to have a good year. I think they're going to have a good year. I just like the way they're built. They got great rim protection, and they got some guards that can make some plays, and they do a good job executing their stuff. So, just kind of I don't know. It was a bit of a choppy game. Thought we had some really good spurts, some really poor spurts, and it just seemed like that. And I just got to really look, is that a lineup thing? Is it a lack of concentration when we got a big lead? I think we were up 19. Gabe made it, I forget what it was, but I think we got to 19. And then I believe they scored, to end the first half. And maybe it wasn't exactly right to the end of the first half, but I believe they scored 14 points in the last, like in a 6 possession stretch where, we foul on a 3, they make another 3, we don't communicate on another 3, and it's like, guys, what are we doing? And so, but we steadied the ship, up 10 at half, felt like it should have been a little bit more, but credit to them, for sticking in there. I thought Ezra had a great start to the second half, just had a really good mindset with Gaeta and tough guy plays, getting more into the post, getting offensive rebounds, putbacks, getting to the foul line. And it just felt like it set the tone more. We missed a lot of chip shots early in the game. And then we kind of extended, and then they made another run and just kind of kept hanging around, right? Where we'd shoot ourselves in the foot at the wrong time, it felt like. And then obviously the last 10 minutes we really, really separated. So a lot of good things tonight, even though it felt like not as good for a stretch. But at the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, we still held them to 35.9% from the field. Right. And it felt like we didn't shoot it well tonight, but at the same time, we shoot 47% from the 3 and made 14 of them. So it wasn't the clip that we had been shooting. That's it's a great number. So, and then to get 17 offensive boards led by 5 with Ezra and 3 for Jake, thought that was outstanding. So we still get 96 points. Our assist numbers weren't quite as good, but credit them, for taking away some of that stuff. So excited to get the win. Our guys have been through a lot here the last 2 weeks or so, just with all the injuries, and we're playing with 9 scholarship guys, and then Jake Wallin was missed practice on what day is today? Tuesday. So he missed practice on Sunday, and was sicker than sick, and felt a little better yesterday. Did about half the practice, and came out today and showed a lot of heart. He was doing things that you don't want to do in the bathroom before the game. And there just was never a doubt that he was going to play. Just never. That dude's a competitor, works his off, and we needed it. I thought he had another really good game. So a lot of good efforts, and I'm sure we'll get into those with the questions. Mike's a really good player. Really proud of his development, in every way. We knew and we saw a lot of talent in him when we recruited him. Everybody plays a little bit different style of play, and just watching it, we just felt like, man, this guy's a really good fit in a guy that has just crazy upside. You just don't find guys with his size at legit 6'9", with his vision. He's super, super intelligent. And I just think he just keeps getting better all the time, right? And so tonight, the other night he had a really good game as well, but he was 3 for 10 from the field. We don't worry about that. That guy can really get it going. And tonight he's 8 for 11. He just rarely makes a wrong play. I think he had one play I was kind of looking at him like, I didn't see that, right? You know what I'm saying? I think it was early in the half when he drove in and kind of got caught in the air, and I think he tried to dump it. But super smart. Guys love playing with him. Makes the right play. It don't matter. He doesn't try to be a stat stuffer. He just makes the right play. And so he keeps it super simple. And because of that, guys love playing with this guy, and he impacts winning in a lot of ways. And then at 6'9", he has the defensive versatility to play on a lot of guys. Like tonight he was guarding their point guard a lot. Their point guard looks like a Big 12 guy, number 10, 6'5", 210. He's a big, strong, physical guy. And I thought Mike did a really good job on him on that end of the floor. But he's just so cerebral and makes the game look pretty, simple.
To follow up on that, how important is it and how encouraging is it to see him become more assertive offensively?
Yeah, that's what's so exciting. Just assertive. It's funny you said that word because that was the word I always used with him this summer and in the fall. Every day when we're stretching, when we're doing our stretches with Coach O, I just walked up, be assertive. Assertive. That was always the word. And he don't, yes sir. Like that's the other thing with this kid, insanely coachable, meaning you can go at him, and I mean undress him. Yes sir. Like he just looks you right in the eye. He wants to be coached. Like he wants to be coached. He wants to learn. And that's the thing, is just being assertive. And I think he's really finding his way, getting comfortable with the language, what we're trying to accomplish, what we're looking for. And he just has natural feel for how we play. But also I think he understands Ezra. I think he understands Gabe. I think he understands Mason. I think he understands Miro. And that's a talent to be able to understand everyone else's strengths.
Craig, it seemed like Queens contested you a little bit more, or challenged you more at the three-point line. You still got 14, like you said. But what did you see from your team that kind of gave you the hope that when teams do challenge you there, you can still make those opportunities work?
Yeah, we're going to. I mean, when you make, 19 for 38 and 19 for 50, like they're going to – and you're playing essentially four guards. I mean, let's be real. Jake, 2 weeks ago was playing predominantly like our small forward position. So you're essentially playing four guards. And, tonight I think we had a lineup where Jake was the 5, and we truly had four – two guards, point guards and two guards out there. So teams are going to do what they got to do that way. But I know we can do it because we have cerebral guys, and we have guys that can really shoot it. So just the ability to play off of your shot, right, and drive closeouts, play off of 2 feet, try and kick it, right, the ability to look below the defense, right, is there anyone open below that can lead in? And we did a way better job of that the second half, especially. These guys change up their press. They didn't press as much tonight, but certainly they did some. They just change up their defenses a lot. That's one thing we have seen a lot this year in all three teams. All three teams play a lot of different types of defenses, and that's good for us. Because we always tell our guys, it doesn't matter what teams do. You just got to be players, and if they're going to do this, we're going to counter with that. That's what great teams do, and great offensive teams. And so I feel like we've done a good job. We still had 13 turnovers tonight. It is a high possession game. I don't know how many possessions, but I mean, when you score 96, it's a high possession game. So I'd like that number to be a little bit lower, but that's still a pretty solid number, all things considered. So I just think every given night is going to be someone different. The ability to share the ball. I was disappointed. I didn't think we did a good job tonight, especially the first half, pitching the ball ahead, like looking up the floor because there were guys open. But at the end of the day, we shot almost 50% from the field, and that was a good sign.
Follow up on that. How encouraging is it that you get a more competitive game and you see your team sort of handle that adjustment and counter effectively?
It's good. When you play non-conference games, of course, you're always preparing for league play. I know every coach always says this. There's 3 seasons, right? Non-conference, conference, and postseason play. But the point of all this stuff is early in the year especially, it's always a great thing to play different styles of play. For whatever, we've been very fortunate here at Utah to be able, early in the year, we've always scheduled that way. It's just kind of worked out. And I thought we played 3 very different teams. Now, you don't know how good they're going to be just because of the portal. You just don't know. And so it's always good to play all these different styles of play because I think it makes you better, and I feel like there weren't nearly as many errors defensively tonight. Certainly there were still some things we got to tighten up, and we will. But I definitely saw progress on that end of the floor, and we held another team to 35%, or lower. So that's always a good thing. I think we're doing a better job guarding personnel, with the exception of the last 4 minutes of the first half. I don't know what our deal was there, but they made us pay, and credit to them. So it's exciting. Now we're going to be really tested, obviously, on Sunday. They're a really, really good team. They've destroyed all 3 teams that they've played, and this team's far and away the most athletic team. They have great size, and they have 2 guards that can really go. So we're going to have to play a lot better to win this game. Yeah.
had 3 games in the last 9 days.
Yeah.
How much does it benefit your team to have a couple of days off to kind of heal up, get their feet underneath them, all those types of things before you go into that physical game versus
Yeah, you know, non-conference schedule this year. So all 3 years I've been here, because we've always played 2 games in the Pac-12 in December. So we've always had 13 games. You get 11 non-conference games, plus we have the 2. You get 13. This year, because the Big 12 did 20 games in a 20-game window, essentially, or 10-week window, we only have 11 games from November 4th till whenever we play Baylor, December 31st. So just think about that, guy. That's it's a little over a game a week. It's just very, it's not ideal in a lot of ways, right? So, but at the same time, this is good. You know, we'll have a day off. I think we need a day off. We just had 3 practices in a row, and then obviously played tonight. So a day off will be really good. And then we'll have 3 hard days of practice, and really got to hone into our prep. This team has done a good job with game planning. Every team is a little bit different. You know, last year's team, the back half of the year was not quite as sound that way. This year's team really seems to want to game plan and understand game planning, and that's exciting. So it'll be good for them to recharge. You know, we'll see what happens with Lovering. That would that would help, having a 7-footer out there, just defensively and protecting the rim, and add a little more depth, you know, specifically to that front line. So it'll be good. You know, we'll have 1 day off and 3 practices, and we play on Sunday.
Following up on that, what is the biggest thing that you think that your team can take away from tonight that they can implement heading into Sunday's game?
Thought there was certainly, I mean, not crazy adversity, but certainly a little more adversity today. You know what I mean? And there was a couple of those media timeouts that I was getting after our guys really, I mean, pretty hard, and they responded. And I'm not necessarily shocked about that, because we're not afraid to get on these guys in practice, and they've always responded in a great way. And so I'm not surprised, but it's kind of the first time, maybe one other time, you know, I think it was the Central Arkansas game. And they responded in a great way. This is a together and connected group. It's still early, so it's easy when you're winning games, you know, like we have. But and then just, I thought we did, like I said, just defensively, I thought we were much better for the long period, except for that 1 4-minute stretch.
Gabe, for the second straight game, Mike leads you guys with assists, and feels like he's making it at least a nightly effort to have at least one no-look pass out there. Just what can you say about his athleticism, the vision that he's kind of bringing to that offense to kind of help it make it churn out?
Yeah, when Mike first showed up on campus and we started playing together, I knew he was just a special talent. Just the way he shared the ball. I always, when we play in the summers, just love being on his team because he's easy to play with. And I've been saying this for a long time, just like this team's identity is just playing together. And there were some like slow parts today, but I think at the end there we started sharing the ball. And yeah, Mike's just super easy to play with. He's literally like Aaron Rodgers, just throwing people open. And you know, he like, I'm always like running to it, and he'll just like he'll be looking at me, and it just goes the other way. I was like, it's just really cool. I wish I could do it, you know.
Game started out a little slow for you guys today, as you said. What was maybe kind of giving you guys fits that it took you guys to get into a rhythm? And I mean, Mike, obviously you were doing really well in the first half, but kind of what took place?
Yeah, I mean, it's an imperfect game, right? But every night we said at the end there, we just like, you can't take a game for granted. And I think for a little bit there, it just was kind of some low energy or a little slow, whatever it was. But yeah, I think we just got to hang our hats on every night, just being the most together team. And that was something we just kept saying, was we got to keep passing it ahead. Because when we started like that, the ball just has energy, and the rest of the, I mean, really, it's not an offensive problem. We're gonna score points, I think so. Defensively, it was just, you know, we had a couple mishaps with some switches and whatnot. So, yeah, every night we're just gonna keep getting better, and luckily a long season.
Mike, I'd be curious to hear about your comfort level with, you know, your game, taking the lead, and just your teammates.
Yeah, it's just easy to play with these guys, you know, especially like Gabe and Mace. Like, they are really good shooters, so I have a lot of space, like on a pick and roll, and Isra and KD, like Jake, they've been setting those screens, so it's just easy to play with these guys.
Mike, as we've talked about, you've been great at setting up guys. You're great at setting them up, but that first half, you kind of took it on yourself. When do you kind of decide that? Like, how do you kind of decide when you need to be the guy to be the scorer versus the facilitator?
That wasn't helping too much, so it was just like me versus my guys. That's why I decided.